All right.
It's Justin!
Hello. Welcome to Coscraft with Kiabdium. This is our very first episode, and this is what we hope will be a continuing YouTube series where we will do reviews, tutorials, shop talk, things like that. What else are we going to do and hope to do in the future?
We hope to tour some friends of our studios and shops to see how everybody crafts differently, and also to have epic reviews of cosplay supplies. So this time we brought in Mel.
Hi!
AKA WindofTheStars.
Nice to meet
Wind
you
of
guys.
the Stars.
Wind of the Stars.
Okay, not just WindofTheStars.
It's Wind of the Dark Star.
That's us.
That's us. That's our WoW character.
It
Yeah.
is. It's true
We've
story.
joined custody.
Soon, soon,
I don't know.
you already made it?
I already made it.
Oh, shit.
I just haven't played it. Anyways,
Yes.
so what we're doing this episode is you might have heard of this wonderful material for making armor called worbla. It's a thermoplastic, but there are several different incarnations of thermoplastic, and we want to kind of give a comparison of several, as well as a new one that's out.
Today we're going to talk about three different ones. Abby has worbla, so what can you tell us about worbla?
Worbla is, again, a thermoplastic. It is made out of wood, sawdust, right?
Mhm.
And it's pressed into a sheet. One side is shiny, the other side is kind of opaque, a little rougher. You heat it up with a heat gun, and you can shape it over shapes. You can sandwich it with foam, and you can coat it with either wood glue, gesso, or filler coat primer, auto primer filler coat thingy.
Lots of stuff.
Words are hard.
Words are hard, and you can turn it into gorgeous pieces of armor.
What's really cool about worbla is you can certainly go look at some of the many, many talented folks that have done some crazy stuff with it. Kamui Cosplay being one of them. Lots of neat stuff. So Mel today has...
I have wonderflex, which was actually one of the first thermoplastics that came onto the market God, how many years ago? I think this started coming out even before I started cosplaying, so this has been out for a while.
Yeah, I think the first one was
Like-
Sintra, because you had to heat that up and
Well, Citra's always been a plastic, it's
Yeah.
just been around. But, like, specifically a thermoplastic made for creating different things, especially for, like, armor and for crafts, that also had an adhesive built into it. Worbla, or not WonderFlex these days has upgraded to now there's a smooth side to it, and there's also still the textured back, which is kind of like the texture of duct tape. But some things that aren't as good with WonderFlex is it doesn't always go over shapes as easily as Worbla, which is why this has been kind of outdated. So, yeah, that's
So you mentioned that has an adhesive as well, so will it stick to itself and
Yes.
other things? Okay.
Yes, it will stick to itself. It doesn't stick too well to foam, from my experience. But you can do the sandwiching stuff. So,
And that's one of the qualities that worbla also has. It can stick to itself as well as other things. The third thermoplastic for today's little talk and discussion is the newcomer here. And this is a brand new product from Tandy Leather. It's called TerraFlex. And now it's the same kind of idea. It's a little bit rough on one side, definitely smoother than worbla, definitely smoother than WonderFlex. And it does have a shiny side. It is also adhesive and can bond to itself as well as other things. In a test that we did while we were at Kansas City Comic-Con, it bonded reasonably well to EVA foam, but it probably would need a little extra assistance, maybe a little bit of hot glue or some bark cement or something like that would secure it. And actually, I think Tandy makes an Eco Series glue that I've never tried. But anyway.
Fun fact
Yes.
about the TerraFlex, it smells like candy corn.
Or kettle corn. Actually.
Yeah, kettle corn, not candy corn. I'm like,
is it
Yeah, for the record, it is late and yeah.
it is late.
it's like,
And we're all on our con diet, so like things like kettle corn sounds super delicious.
candy corn. You realize put the candy corn out for Easter now? Like they have Easter candy
What?
corn. I'm like, when did that become a thing? Anyways.
All right, but so yeah, so we've kind of talked about the three different things we're going to look at. One of the things we're going to be going through is we're going to look at size options. We're going to talk about a little bit about price point, and then we're going to go through and we're going to get some weights off of these. These are all 8x8 squares. We're going to take a thickness using our micrometer. We'll go through talk about some of the other cool properties and things you can do with it. sizing. WonderFlex comes in several different sizes, which makes it kind of cool. But worbla also comes in 3 or 4 different sizes. And then finally, TerraFlex offers one size, which is good or bad depending on how you look at it. The one size TerraFlex comes in is about 30 inches by 20, which is equivalent to the medium sizing that WonderFlex and Worbla offers. All these wonder things. Yeah, exactly. All the W's. So it's like I said, medium size sheet of either of these guys is equal to the one size offering from Tandy's TerraFlex. Price point, the WonderFlex medium sheet is around $29 per sheet. The Worbla runs about $38 per sheet for the same sizing, and the TerraFlex is about $39 a sheet. However, if you are a Tandy, if you use lots of leather and you need rivets and grommets and you name it, and you do other things at Tandy, you can get into their clubs. They have a gold club and an elite club. So if you're a gold member, that brings your sheet price down to $32. And if you're an elite member, it brings your sheet price down to $28.
The other thing to note too is where you get your supplies.
Yeah.
I know Worbla is largely out of either Canada or Germany, so it can be a little bit more expensive when it comes to shipping.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about depending on your suppliers, some suppliers will do free shipping, so that's kind of cool. But if you're just adding dollars or cents, something to think about. So let's go ahead and bring this scale out here. And we're going to turn it on. And very good.
All right, so the WonderFlex this is in ounces, is 1.5 ounces.
All right. Let's take a look at
the Worbla is 1.8 ounces.
All right.
It's
And the
heavier.
TerraFlex is
1.8 ounces.
No, 1.8. Oh, sorry, I can't read.
okay.
It's
I'm
like,
special.
All right. So right out of the gate, you can see WonderFlex is a lighter product. So that's kind of nice, depending on if you're carrying stuff around. Both the TerraFlex and the Worbla are equal.
one thing I want to note is my experience of working with WonderFlex, once this heats up, it doesn't retain its rigidity as well as I've noticed with Worbla. Worbla, when I heat it up and let it cool, unless it's been stretched really thin, will pretty much stay pretty rigid. Whereas my view is this, once you heat this up, it kind of gets a little bit more floppy. Like it's harder for it to keep its shape without some type of understructure underneath it.
Now I've never used WonderFlex, but I've heard from a few people who have that if you made armor or custom pieces out of WonderFlex and you were out on a hot day, for example, that it would start to warp.
Yeah, it does start to warp just from being out in heat. I haven't had too much of that issue. I've made masks and stuff with it before, just kind of as a test. I haven't made a full armor project out of it just because I didn't like the properties of WonderFlex.
Okay.
One of the main drawbacks, like I mentioned earlier, is it doesn't do the compound curves, which Worbla can do.
Okay.
And a compound curve means it can go dome shaped. And the reason that is because, I don't know if you guys can see this on the back here, but there's like a fiber on the back, like duct tape, and this fiber doesn't allow it to stretch or compress as much as this product does. So,
Good to
just
know.
something to know.
All right. Well, let's break out the micrometer, and we're just going to get an idea of thickness. So let's get this down to 0.
Now, did you ever have any problems, well, he's measuring that, have any problems with it bubbling? Like, sometimes when you're working with Worbla, if you stretch it too thin or you heat it up too much, it could bubble.
I didn't per se because I wasn't going over a foam shape. Like, a lot of times when you do Worbla, you're putting it over foam.
Yeah.
So it's easy for the air to get trapped underneath it.
This is about 1 millimeter, by the way.
1 millimeter?
So I didn't have that issue, but I would imagine since it can't do compound curves, so it can't stretch that way, that there probably wouldn't be as much. Though.
It's about 1.5.
So this is thicker.
Yep. Which would make sense for the weight factor.
Yeah.
And last but not least, this is. Let me get in the right spot here. This is actually about. Depending on where you go, it is.
Is it
Wow.
consistent?
No, it's about 0.95. It's actually a hair thinner than that is.
Huh.
And quite a bit thinner than that is. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you talked about complex or compound curves.
Mhm.
So we got a couple things. We've got the little laughing man detail thing that we can do there. I don't know how much we really need of that. We also have Abby's chest cast up there, which we can grab, and that'll give us a chance to take a look at the compound curves. And shall we start with?
You want to do the big pieces over that?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's give it a shot.
All right.
We're starting with worbla.
Then I start worbla.
All right.
I get the heat pad. Woof, woof, woof.
I like you actually have a heat pad. I use baking sheets.
That could be a little
That's-
hot.
Yeah, you don't want to heat any thermoplastic up on something that can catch fire and or warp. So
Now we should add while she's heating this up, and this is part of our little experiment here, is how quickly this thermoplastic
timing
will
it?
heat up. No, we're just talking and watching. You could probably flip
It's
it
on
over.
low, right?
Yeah, you can flip it over and let it.
oh, I got a flip.
Okay.
I need a piece.
But in general,
It's actually not heating up very well.
let's put it on high.
It is on high. Hear it?
Yeah.
Did I break it?
I don't know.
It's tired too, apparently.
Yes. Not a bad idea to have some gloves on, some work gloves, because this stuff can heat up and you don't want to burn your fingers. I know many people who've walked away with no fingerprints, so
One
Is
thing
that why I
that
don't have any more?
probably.
Okay.
one thing that you see me doing is flipping it. So in order, because it comes rolled up, so in order to get it kind of malleable to shape it, you kind of want to really make sure it's flat.
So for people who haven't used worbla before, what type of consistency is the worbla getting to once it's warm? Is it like a pasta?
I was gonna say the only way I can relate this is to food. I like to get it kind of like lasagna noodle-ish
Okay.
or warm tortilla.
More tortilla.
Yeah.
Warm tortilla.
Now the thing about
now I
worbla
want
that's
Taco Bell.
interesting when you try to heat it up is that if you heat it too much, it will stick to your surface, and if you heat it too much, it'll start to stretch. I noticed using this in the past that
This corner's still very stiff.
it gets a little inconsistent with the heat distribution. So
I know for me, I go a lot on color when I'm heating it up because
Okay.
once it heats up, I
I'm
notice
at the wrong angle to do this.
it gets a little.
she's gonna help you out there.
Now, and the other thing you can do when you're doing it over a complex curve is push and then heat over it, and then push as soon as it starts getting floppy.
Yeah.
That noodle consistency, yeah, there we go, thanks, Mom.
Again, you should use gloves. Don't
Yeah.
do as I'm doing.
Yeah, and don't heat up Mel's fingers.
I'm not heating, I'm wiggling it.
But you see how that kind of goes around that curve?
Yeah.
Can I heat that up pretty well and I can push it down.
And actually, I'm realizing that we have a detail line here that we can work with because it's already here.
Alright, that's good.
So go ahead and I'll let
Start
you.
bubbling.
Oops, you got a little too warm there. Don't burn your fingers.
Oh, you're good. So the bubbling she was talking about, if you get it too warm, then it will start to kind of boil,
Yeah.
is the best way I can describe it.
Think of really hot pizza stuck to the roof
Yeah.
of your mouth.
Oh, I can't reach my gloves.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
And of course, you can, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but the little folds, you can get it warm and you can go in there and you can kind of press it out. This was just a quick little thing, but you can see how well it goes actually around the bust in like, what was that, 2 seconds? 20 seconds
Yeah.
at the very most?
Yeah, and you can, it can get to like a clay-like consistency, so you can actually push it in. And like Kamui's done pieces where she rolls up a piece of worbla and she can actually shape it into scales and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also another, and we'll put the link for that too. A prop maker is making a full-size bug costume from Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that one's
And he's done some things with the worbla that I've never even seen, where he's actually gone through and add sculpted details into it, where he's added texture and all sorts of other things. It's really amazing. So thermoplastics are really cool in their diversity and their ability to do other things.
So it's been about, a couple seconds, and this is still pretty warm. So we couldn't actually take it off the form yet until it completely cools
Yeah.
because,
one thing that I do when because I do them over plastic domes, I like to coat my domes in a little coat of Vaseline, so that way when you put it on, you can still form it, but then it doesn't stick because the Vaseline is automatically a release agent. So the sticky stuff doesn't stick to it, and it's a cheap, easy solution that's readily available. You don't have to get
I'm back.
fancy. Oh, what do you guys use?
Well, what you can use in order to cool stuff off is you turn a can of air upside down, and it will cool it, so you can actually pop it off quicker. Whoa. So.
Oops.
Oh, that spot's still warm.
Yeah, it was still warm.
JK, guys, JK.
We're professionals.
Oh yeah, it's cold.
It looks like it might have stuck a little bit.
Might have stuck
Yeah.
a little bit.
So let that be a lesson, folks. It is adhesive, so
Don't stick things to Abby's boobs.
put a little bit of
Oh, it's because it's still warm right there.
Okay. Looks like it's still warm, right? There you go.
There you go.
All
See
right.
how it was kind of warm and we started to take it off and it
Too
created
soon.
this weird dent. But what is an advantage about worbla is you can just heat this up, lay it flat, and then try it again. So
Yep. It has properties of being able to reuse it pretty easily.
yeah.
All right. So, all right, Mel. Let's thermoplex. Thermoplex. Let's wonderflex our way. Yeah. Let's wonderflex our way through this.
You want to be my official heater?
Oh, because I'm the closest one to the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, I'll be the.
You can be the pusher. Do you want the gloves?
No, cool.
No, I don't need fingerprints.
I don't need no stinking gloves. I remember my fingerprints are burn off anyways.
You want me to throw a little mold release on this?
No, I don't
Okay.
think it's gonna stick. No, as much as worbla does. Like I was saying earlier, for worbla, another thing
You
is
can
I
see
do
that's already curling.
about I do about color because it does get a little bit darker when you heat it up. So just from using it, I've noticed like the type of color consistency, and when it gets too hot, it starts turning white, and that's when you can kind of tell you're starting to burn it. So, but if you notice, like with WonderFlex, see how it doesn't really like to. It kind of like it's weird.
Yeah, it's
weird.
not really heating evenly, and
Yeah,
like
I personally think it's a hard thing to work with.
I'm having to keep it like because it's cooling really rapidly. It's not heating very well.
Alright,
So
let's
All right, well, let's get it onto the surface. And... My guess is with the fiber layers running through it, it's not going to shape very well because they're keeping.
it's sliding too. It's
Yep.
like not. It's.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine trying to do a whole breastplate and this not. Yeah, it's not even taking the fold.
Yep.
How the poop?
Kind of need to. See how many hands you need to use for WonderFlex? This is why I used it once. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna use that stuff again.
Okay, so can we hit it with the
Yeah, you got to clear your hands up.
ready?
Yeah,
No, you're gonna
you
have
wanna
to clear.
yeah.
Yeah, hit it on the side. Here. Stay away from her, you bitch! Sorry.
Wow, you got ice crystals.
I did! And it's still floppy. It's
Mm-hmm.
cake.
Yeah, I see how I was kind of mentioning how once it heats up, it doesn't retain its
No, it's
rigidity
still-
as well.
Yeah.
Still. Oh, okay.
All right. Now,
Yeah, I mean,
well, that wasn't necessary.
well, I know that's a demonstration because when you're wearing armor, you're
Try it with the Worbla.
yeah, you're
All right. Well, there you go.
okay. So
TerraFlex.
And we're gonna let Mel do the shaping again because she's in the middle.
I just realized that was on her chest.
I know.
I did not intentionally mean to be.
Cosplay does not equal consent.
Sorry!
So one thing about the TerraFlex is that it heats up pretty evenly and pretty quickly. I mean, I'm just going around the edges right now, and it's already flattening out. See, we need to put this on like a thing so
Yep.
people can see. I'm sorry, guys.
You'll just have to take our word for it.
So is this something that you can maybe get on Tandy's website if you don't have a Tandy in
Yes.
your area,
Yeah,
or
you
maybe
can.
your Tandy does not carry
You
it?
can order it online.
Okay.
like any other products, and you can still also be a club member online as
So I
well.
know you can buy some of their products
Yep.
online.
Yep,
So
no,
I'm
it's
sure
available.
This is a product you can use online.
One of the neat things is if you do have a local Tandy near you, and they do stock this product, it's kind of cool to think that if you're in the middle of something and you need more, you can go back and get some more without having to order it, have it shipped, the whole shebang.
I just put a dart there. So
Well, I'm trying to see how well it can do compound curves by pushing it down.
And then you could probably heat it up a little bit more like we did the worbla.
well, it's already. I mean, even just as is, we're just smoothing it down, and I put a dart in my boob, right there to get it even smoother, and that. It's not even as hot, and it wasn't even.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it gets as hot as the worbla either.
And
Which
it's
is-
picking up that groove right there, which is that bra line,
Yeah.
pretty easily.
So, which is nice because you can work with it with your hands.
Can
Heat
you
up that
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Now I'm gonna turn around so get it kind of pretty hot.
Yeah.
That way I can see
I want to
how
smooth
it's.
some of that in there too.
Alright, that's probably good. You can see it kind of getting
Yes.
rough.
Alright, yeah. Alright, settle down, Beavis.
Sorry, I like the heat gun.
Oh wow, holy crap. That's actually really cool. No pun intended. So, I hadn't gotten to do this before with this particular
Oh wow, you can push
product,
and folds.
and it is very interestingly gummy, so you can get into the grooves.
Yeah, this is like getting like.
It's very malleable once it gets warm.
And our hands are taking up all this space.
Yeah.
But like, there's a fold here, and instead of trying to like push it and cram it like the worbla, I'm able to kind of push it down and smooth it around like
Yeah,
Like,
look,
much more.
like easier than you do with Worbla.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Worbla,
very
you have
malleable.
to work it a
really
lot.
work it.
And now I put 2 folds in over here. Look how clean those folds
Well,
are.
they'll press right out. That's
No,
that's
I
it.
know,
Yeah.
but I want
Like
to
a
show,
clay.
in case you do have to put a fold in for something, maybe a design, you can see how well it takes the fold.
I don't know how well you guys can see that fold. And then you can see the line right here, the bra line.
But that's actually, I mean,
So
pretty good.
let's cool it down and
Yeah.
see how well it. I mean, it's already starting to cool, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like your little air.
You can do this with silicone too. When you're trying to make sure there's no bubbles in your molds, you can actually hit it with the pressed air and it will take out.
Now, you don't want to go too crazy with it,
Yeah.
but you
I
basically use the air. You don't use the cold part of it. You just use the air to blow off. I think I've made my.
Now I wonder if we pressed it into the thing too much and it's gonna stick.
We'll find out in a moment.
See how much it sticks to other things.
I just can't get over how well you can press it in and you're not burning your fingers.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as hot as that Worbla.
Okay,
Who's
it's a little
there?
warm down here still.
Hello? Hello?
Oh wow,
Wow.
that came off a lot easier.
Well, look at that.
Wow. You want to do your slam test?
Wait.
Wait.
Let it dry a little bit. Didn't get as long. Wow.
Wow, that's pretty solid.
Okay.
As solid as the Worbla?
The Worbla is still warm. So I'm pushing on it.
Look at it, how resilient it's coming, bouncing back though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't fully see this, but you can push in and it bounces back.
Yeah, so
So we'll take some close-up pictures of this. It's pretty interesting. You can see right here that it's shaped completely around the center of the bra line. You can see the seam of the bra came over the top. If you look on this side, you can see how it wrapped around. And
can't really get any of that detail.
right through here was a fold, and you can heat it up enough that you can actually smooth out the fold. I mean, take a look at that. And then texture-wise, it's reasonably smooth compared to that.
Yeah, it's smoother than the Worbla.
Yeah, it's definitely smooth. The only part that is a little more rough is right here where I got a little bit more stretch, but Worbla does the same thing when you overstretch it. It
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
more gritty. But I definitely feel like this is smoother, that there would be
Yeah.
less work to actually sit here.
And the inside is a lot smoother than the Worbla is too.
Yeah. But I don't know if this is this adhesive. You know how Worbla has the shiny
Right.
smoother
Yeah.
side,
Right.
and once you heat it up, it kind of goes away.
So, well, that's kind of our little test for the day. So, what do we know? We know that price point is around the same for a medium sheet. If you were to go medium sheet being the standard size, this only does come in one size. We know that texture-wise, you know, the WonderFlex has the most aggressive texture out of it. It also apparently doesn't handle compound curves as well, or is as durable.
Yeah, it's not even going back to the shape. Whereas the
Maybe it
Worbla,
was still
The
kind
the
of
TerraFlex has the ability to be cheaper, depending on if you take advantage of their club prices. It also has the ability to be a little bit smooth, or is a little bit smoother. It's a little bit lighter, and it is the same thickness as Worbla. So interesting, cool stuff. You can check it out at your local store. The next time we do this, I think what we're going to do is we are going to try to paint it and
yes.
see how that works out. So look for that one. But in the meantime, thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you, Mel.
No problem. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
All right.
Right.
Have a great one, everybody.
Bye,
See you next time.
guys.